Welcome to this first episode of Smart Flower Foods cooking series, Cooking with Chef Kent. I'm Samir Shah, Marketing Director for Smart Flower Foods, and I'm joined today by Chef Kent Booth, our Director of Operations and a classically trained chef. Chef, how are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks for making time for us today. I think our intent here over the next few months is to share with our friends and customers a variety of different recipes and different alternatives that you can do with the various gluten-free products that we have, our crusts, our mixes like pancake and waffle mix, flours, etc. So what do you have for us today?
Well, today we're going to focus on our crust, which is the Smart Flower Foods original pizza crust made with ancient grains. Very, very flexible ingredient, can be used for a lot of different applications. So today we're going to be looking at a fruit pizza, which is a little bit somewhat out of the norm when you think of pizza, but it's a really great application, can be used for a great breakfast application, a great brunch application, or if it's a Saturday afternoon and you're hanging out with the kids and you want to have a little fun in the kitchen and give them something that's somewhat nutritious to eat and fun, then here we go. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Outstanding. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. I think what we'll start doing today, we'll start off by talking about some of the pieces of equipment that we're going to use and some of the ingredients. I think a lot of home cooks, when they want to take on a recipe, get overwhelmed at a point. So what we're going to try to do is kind of lay things out in steps to where you have everything you need, but it's not overwhelming by any means. We're going to start off with basically what we'll need today is a couple of silver mixing bowls, a couple of just basic spatulas. We have a couple of sharp knives. You always want to work with sharp knives when you're doing anything as far as cutting. And then we're going to be working with a couple different instruments, one called a microplane and one called a zester. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. Secondly, ingredient-wise, when you look at this fruit pizza, we're using a medley of berries today. The fruit selection can be completely up to yourself. If you don't like blueberries, don't put them on there. If you don't like raspberries, don't put them on there. Really pick the berries that you like and utilize those berries. One precaution you do want to take is you want to stay away from melons. Melons have a lot of water, so when they go onto the pizza, they may release a lot of excess liquid onto that pizza, which you really don't want. So, but strawberry, blackberry, blueberry, raspberry, those are going to be the four we're working with today, and it's going to be yummy. Anyway, we're going to start by talking about our berry selection. Once again, we've got strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. They've all been washed. The seeds or the stems have been removed, the tops have been removed from the strawberries and quartered, just because we want to try to make everything as bite-sized as possible. Also, we're going to have some fresh mint, and then we're going to be working with some lemon juice and lemon zest. So what we're going to do is, utilizing a small silver mixing bowl like we have here, we're going to simply take those berry selections and we're going to add them into the bowl. At that point, we added a half cup of sugar, some lemon zest, which we'll talk a little bit more in a minute, and lemon juice. Now what we're going to do is called macerating the berries. And what that is a reaction with the sugar coming into contact with the berry, and over time the sugar breaking down the berry and releasing the juice of the berry, creating this wonderful flavor. So we've got those ingredients into the mixing bowl. We're just going to simply take a rubber spatula and we're going to do a process called folding. You don't want to get in here and stir really hard because you're going to mash up your berries. Basically, you just want to fold them together very gently. Doesn't take long, just to incorporate that lemon juice, lemon zest, and sugar. Okay, at that point, when they've mixed really well, you just want to let them stand in the bowl, return them to the refrigerator, and let them sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. Ideally, you can go up to 2 hours, but after 2 hours, the berries start to break down and get really mushy. So about an hour is good. That way you get a nice firm berry. So we're going to put these into the fridge, and then we'll move on to the rest of our preparation. All right, secondly, we're going to talk about the cream cheese we're going to be using. We know we're going to be using our 9-inch Smart Flower Foods ancient grain crust. We have 8 ounces of cream cheese, just your basic cream cheese, nothing fancy. We've got it softened almost to room temperature, meaning that it's going to spread pretty easily. You want this cream cheese to be pliable, so it spreads onto your crust nice and smoothly. Okay, to our cream cheese, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. And then, once again, just using that spatula, we're going to work that lemon zest and that lemon juice into the cream cheese. Basically, we're infusing the flavor into the cream cheese. I love cream cheese, but I like it a lot better when it's infused with a little bit of flavor. As you see, in a few minutes we've gotten the consistency we need. We're going to move forward. Okay. All right, we've got one 9-inch pizza crust here. It is completely thawed. You do not want to work with a frozen crust, so you want to make sure you thaw it completely. Okay, so we're going to lay that down on our cutting board, and we're going to apply some cream cheese. Now, once again, the amount of cream cheese you put on your crust is completely up to yourself. Some individuals like more cream cheese, some individuals like less cream cheese. It's almost like the same kind of mindset towards cheese on your pizza. Do you like a lot of cheese on your pizza, or do you like a small amount of cheese? It's really up to you. Once again, food is all about personal preference. So when you're making stuff, make it to the way you like it, not the way someone else likes it. Okay, we've got it nicely covered in cream cheese. As it bakes, it's going to reach out to a little bit further on the crust, so it'll grow out a little bit, so you don't want to bring it to the full edge of the crust. You want to keep it back about a 1/2 inch. Okay? So at this point, we're going to put it into our 400-degree oven that's been preheated, once again to 400 degrees. We're going to let that bake for about 5 or 7 minutes, just until we start to see the cream cheese starting to brown up a little bit. And basically what that is a light caramelization from the sugar and the cream cheese with the heat. So we're going to go into the oven with this. Now, when you're extracting the lemon zest from the lemon, there's a couple different ways to do it. Traditionally, we had a piece of equipment called the lemon zester, which you can still find around. Has become a little antiquated, but still works very well. And basically, it's just a simple method of thumb to the nipple of the lemon, pressing the zester into the peel, and then pulling backwards. And you extract basically strips of lemon peel. Now, lately, they've come up with a beautiful little piece of equipment called the microplane. At one time, you could only find these in specialty stores. Now you can pretty much find them anywhere. So it's a great, great piece of equipment to have in your home kitchen. And basically, when you're using a microplane, really all you're doing is taking the lemon itself, and you're just basically just rubbing it against the grating attachment. And then what you're going to be getting is very, very fine slivers of lemon peel, which is what you want. And once again, with that peel, you're just going to get wonderful lemon flavor, no acidic afterbite, and which is great for this application, but it has a lot of great applications. So just a little information about lemons and lemon zesting. Okay, our berries have been in the fridge. They've been sitting there. We have stirred them occasionally here and there, but basically what you've got going on right now is you've got some syrup starting to build up in the bottom of the bowl, and that's what you want to see. You want to see that nice, liquidy, dark, reddish, blackish syrup that's building in there. It's a lot of great flavor. Alright, while that pizza shell is baking off with the cream cheese, we're going to talk about the mint that we're going to be topping it with for a little bit. Basically, this is just fresh mint leaves. We're going to slice these up really fine and use them as a topping. It's going to just add a really nice punch of freshness to the pizza and some really nice color to it also. Now we're going to do a little layering effect. To get those very fine slices of mint, we're going to do a little layering effect. We're just going to layer those leaves together. Start off with the largest ones first, working up through the smallest ones. We're going to lay them flat, and then we're going to take our fingers and just kind of roll those up, not very tightly. Now what this is called a chiffonade, and basically it's a classical cut. It kind of refers to in small rags, because once you've made your cuts, the pieces look like small torn rags. But basically we're going to take a very sharp knife, and we're just going to slice it very thin. Now make sure when you're slicing that you slice through your product every time, no matter what it is. Try not to get into the habit of just using the heel of your knife, which a lot of people do. In that process, you're pressing out a lot of flavor, which in slicing you retain. So you really want to retain all that great flavor. So once again, we've sliced those up very fine, so we've got these real thin, just pieces of mint. Alright, let's take a look at our shell. As you can see, our cream cheese is lightly browned. That's the caramelization from the sugar meeting the heat. Our crust is nice and crispy, so we're ready to top. Now, I suggest about 1 cup of berries per top, or per crust should I say. If you want to put more berries on there, all the more power to you. Once again, it's all about your personal preference. We're just going to spread these out. We don't need them directly touching each other. We just want to spread them out evenly onto the shell. Alright. Now as you can see, there's some liquid onto that shell, but you do want to control how much liquid goes onto that shell, because you can easily make your pizza soggy if you're not careful. Okay, once we've got it topped, we're going to take that fresh mint we cut up, and we're just going to sprinkle it over the top. Now once again, You may not have a great preference for mince. You may go lighter, or you may put a lot more. Really, it's up to yourself and your taste. So at that point, we've got this beautiful pizza crust topped with that wonderful cream cheese, the berry medley, and fresh mint. From here, we're just going to cut, serve immediately, and enjoy. As you can hear, that crust is nice and crispy. Okay, we're going to cut that into just small pieces, and once again, display it any way you like, but you really want to make sure you serve it immediately while it's nice and warm, because it's just not as wonderful when it's cold. But anyway, that is our fresh fruit pizza on our Smart Flour Foods ancient grain crust. And come back and join us in the near future for some more wonderful things that we'll be working with as far as our crust and other gluten-free applications that we'll be doing.